I'd like to introduce Crystal from the United States, who takes LDN for MS. Thank you for joining me, Crystal.
Thank you, Linda.
Could you tell me when you first started to experience your MS symptoms?
I would say, now that I look back, I wonder if some of the strange symptoms I had during my last 2 or 3 pregnancies was really MS related.
Mm-hmm.
I would get tingling and numbness in my fingers and visual disturbances like blurry vision or spots in my vision. And we would just wonder what in the world is going on. And I asked my OB about it, and they just kind of dismissed it as maybe baby's on a nerve or something like that. And nobody ever thought anything of it, and I didn't have it after pregnancy. So I don't know if that was related or not, but it's hard to remember the specifics of everything because of the fact that we just kind of blew it off. But then I can remember weird things a couple of years later after my last pregnancy, just maybe a year afterwards. I can remember some weird things like waking up biting my tongue because it was kind of like loose or hanging off to the side. And then shortly after this, it was just before my insomnia started. I would have insomnia, and I would have restless leg syndrome in my arms, and my skin would crawl and itch. And all of this would make me feel really crazy, and I started having double vision after this, and dizziness when I stood up or just got up too fast.
Mm-hmm.
This was right before I had my major symptom. My primary care sent me to an ophthalmologist for the double vision, who said my eyes and optic nerve looked just fine. So everybody was baffled why I would be having double vision. And then shortly after this is when I woke up one morning with a numb mouth on the right side. My lips and my tongue were numb and tingly. I was also having headaches at the same time. So I had an MRI scheduled because of the headaches that didn't just persisted. Even taking, major medication like narcotics and stuff did not help these headaches. So when I woke up with numbness one morning, my husband said, "That does not seem right. You need to go into the doctor." And my husband is not the type to recommend going into the doctor. You know how men are.
Yes.
So when he said that I should go into the doctor, I really took that serious. It must have sounded serious to him. So I went in, and I saw a doctor that wasn't my primary care because she was out that day or something, and they tested my sensations, like with Q-tips and stuff, to see if I could actually feel the Q-tip being
Mm-hmm.
touched to my tongue and my, different parts of my face. And I could still feel the sensation of the Q-tip there, even though I was numb and tingly. So it wasn't that all feeling was gone. But we just kind of eventually, after discussing things, we concluded it may have something to do with my usual nighttime teeth clenching. I was told to follow up in a couple of days, which I did, but I still had the numbness. So when my doctor, the doctor that oversaw my primary, she didn't feel comfortable waiting for my scheduled MRI, the one that was set up because of my headaches. She said, I'm going to have to send you down to the ER right now for an emergency ER or MRI.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what happened. I went down right away, and at that time the results were read by the ER doctors and radiologists that night. I was very tired because, it was I had to wait quite a while to get the MRI and then for them to read it. And the ER doctors and radiologists looked at the MRI, and they all thought it looked most like MS. And then later on, when I finally got an appointment with a neurologist, I don't know how it is there in England, but it takes a long time to get an appointment with a neurologist. And when I did finally see him, he did confirm an MS diagnosis. So I never did go on a disease-modifying therapy because an older lady from my church had read about LDN, and I knew that the disease-modifying therapies were kind of toxic. And she told me about LDN, and I asked for it immediately from my neurologist. And fortunately, he was the type of neurologist to go ahead and prescribe that for me, even though they did encourage me to start the DMT because they said prognosis for people is much better the earlier you start. But as far as I can tell, because I don't have much to base things on because I only had that first attack really, I can't tell you how much of a difference LDN made in my, in my disease, but I do know it helped with insomnia, and I've been feeling pretty good for having MS. My pastor's actually, when I talked to him the other day, he said, I'm very thankful and impressed with how well you've been doing, because sometimes with MS, you quickly, once you start going downhill, it's quick. It's like going off a cliff. And I haven't had that battle so far, and maybe it's due to the LDN that I haven't gotten any worse. I know that LDN has helped me tremendously with insomnia. I don't have that anymore. I don't have the itching and crawling of the skin or the restless arms. So far, it seems that LDN has done the job. And I do plan on going on Copaxone just because I want to take measures to prevent further damage, which LDN hasn't yet clinically been proven to do, but I will be taking the LDN at the same time because I know Copaxone and LDN are the only, Copaxone's the only one you can take with LDN. So as long as I can, I'm going to stay on the LDN.
And would you like to tell people what a regular day for you is like, Crystal?
Sure. Like I said, right now, I just have pains. I haven't had much fatigue anymore. In the beginning, right after my diagnosis, I had tremendous amounts of fatigue. I would hit a certain part in the morning, and I would just have to lay down, and I'd tell my kids, can you kids please just, clean this room or that room, and they would work together, and they'd kind of get a room cleaned up or whatever, and I'd go lay down because I was just so fatigued. Well, I don't have that anymore, and I've been on LDN now for 6 months, and I wonder if that fatigue that I used to experience isn't gone because I take LDN and get a good rest, and also perhaps it's just helping with that symptom. But now I just have intermittent bouts of pain, in various places. I can feel twinges of pain. They're fleeting. They come and go pretty quickly. I don't have much muscle weakness or anything like that, which is good because I'm needing to take care of my children, and so it's good that I don't have anything major right now. So as far as I do have visual disturbances sometimes. When I get up too fast, I do feel like I'm going to get double vision, but I never actually get it.
But on a daily basis, you have 7 children, and how many do you homeschool, Crystal?
I homeschool the youngest 3 I don't homeschool. So the oldest 4.
Mm-hmm. So that is one busy mum. So I think
Yes.
you're doing extremely well. I mean, it would be a big job, I think, for a healthy person, let alone somebody with MS. So you know you are doing extremely well. Super mum.
Thank you. Thank you. I do have a lot of help. I have the homeschooling materials we use are very helpful. My 2 younger ones that I homeschool, they have videos they watch and stuff, so it's tremendous help. We have an outside teacher that teaches them, and I'm just there to help out, and and they do very well. I have some wonderfully smart kids.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, Crystal.